So, what are commissions and why do people charge so much sometimes just for a certain commission or a variety of commissions? Well, it's real simple. Now, I probably have talked about this before in some shape or form, but basically a commission, that, people charge for, whether it's not for that much money or it's for money that basically could be, I would say, on par to buying a new game. Like, let's say one of the new recent games that came out was Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, the newer version. You know, that cost about $70, you know, or even more depending on your edition that you get. Or Sonic Frontiers, which cost $60. Same with Mario Strikers Battle League. The sometimes commissions can cost around that much, if not more. Sometimes they could be in the hundreds almost. But it's mainly because of the fact that a lot of people do commissions as a living. Like, yeah, they may have a regular job like I do. Regular 9 to 5, 8 to 5, 8 to 4, 10 to 6 kind of job, you know, and that's fine, or 10 to 7 job, and that's fine. Um, but to them, that's not enough. Even if they get paid every other week, you know, it's still not enough. They want more. And you can't blame them for wanting to have some extra financial structure, which is why they do commissions. And sometimes they do commissions because they like to take what, God gave them and put it to use. They want to take that artistic talent and draw whatever somebody commissions them to draw. Yes, they will set limits as to what they will or will not draw, but most of the time, they will be willing to draw something. Depending on the style of what you want them to draw. You want them to draw it simply, won't cost you that much. You want them to go full throttle, full out, then yeah, it's going to cost you. Maybe not as much, depending on who, commissions, well, not commissions, but depending on what that person's commission prices will be, still sometimes it can get a little pricey. But again, this is just what they do to have that second run of income. They might even be going to school and thinking, well, I have this as a job after school, but I would like to have a little income, on the side. And that's where commissions come in. Sometimes it's not just artisticness either, whether it's a single page, a single picture, a multi-panel single page, a mini comic, whatever you want to call it. you know, they like to utilize, as I mentioned, what God gave them to bring whatever you want to see to life. And they will do so. Yes, they'll take their time, depending on how complicated the picture or the moments, the scenes, and all that are, but they will still do it. Because like I said, they might be going to college and might have a job afterwards, but it's only part-time, full-time for them on the weekends maybe, but it's still not enough. But it's not just artisticness that gets commissioned, it's also writing. Sometimes people will be commissioned or even offer commissions to write whatever stories you want them to write. Sometimes, they will have their limits, but sometimes they'll pretty much do whatever you ask them to do, but for a certain price. And sometimes that price comes on the merit of how many words you want. Like, how long do you want the story? Like, if you want it at 600 words or 6,000 words, it could cost you $60, maybe. Or if the person's generous and says, you know what, I know not everybody can afford, you give me a 6,000 word idea for a story you want, I'll only charge you 10. And that's it. But commissions are mainly done by a lot of people, even those professionally that work in the industry, whether it's comic books or animation. They do it they do it to make a little bit of extra, financial dough on the side. And I'll be honest with you, if I could um, write, actually, I can type, but if I could draw as good as, let's say, my older sister, there's no doubt I'd probably be doing commissions. There'd be no doubt. If I could, type, honestly, and that's probably something I could look into, I could type up whatever story people would want. But that's something I would have to look at as a possibility for extra income in the future. Because, again, sometimes you got to know what you're writing about before you do it. You know what I'm saying? But one of the more popular writing commissions sometimes, and I've even delved into this, is when adult stories are made. That's right. Adult stories based on established characters. And when I'm talking adult, I'm talking, these characters go to the extremes of intimacy like you wouldn't believe. And sometimes it's just, straight up and all that. And true, they get a little exaggerated with, how they want the character to be, certain ways. But that's about it. Now, like I said, some writers and artists have the limits. Although, even though they have the limits, sometimes they're not afraid to negotiate and probably make an exception. Especially especially if you say, look, if you do this for me, not only will I pay you the price you have set, but I'll give you a little extra on the side. Basically saying, hey, I'll give you a bonus if you could just, make this exception. And sometimes people that do art commissions and writing commissions, story commissions will do that. They will make that exception. There is no doubt about that. I mean, there was one commission that I did just out of curiosity about over a decade ago. And this person, I can't think of the name right now, is a Finiant, and they normally don't really dabble in this area. But I figured, you know what, I was going through a phase, living on my own, and I wanted to kind of see this potentially become a reality. Because one of the common traits of the vor scenario, the vor trope, if you will, soft vor trope that is sometimes a character allows themselves to be swallowed out of love, knowing the other character will spit them up. So I figured, why not have, this person do a colored picture of Dulcie from Sonic the Hedgehog, Dulcie the Dragon, swallowing Sally, eating Sally, and what we see is Sally pushing out in an imprint, a visage imprint, pushing out and kissing, Dulcie's stomach from the inside, saying that she loves her, and Dulcie saying that you were delicious. I know it sounds strange, but again, this was a phase I was going through. Because one of the common things I found out, just doing some exploring, is a lot of stories between female and female characters, male and female, that had the soft vor trope in it, mainly had it there because it was done as affection. And that was it. So I figured, why not go that way with some Sonic characters, and the rest is history. I even had a story I did. Again, I was going through some phases, living on my own, of Sally and Mina. Sally Acorn, Mina Mongoose from the Archie Sonic, and Sonic SatAM. Sally from SatAM, that is. Mina from Archie Comics, anyway. Both in Archie Comics. Archie Sonic Comics, that is. I did this little story. And I commissioned somebody, I can't think of the name right now, to do a webcomic for me on it. And at first they were a little reluctant, but then they thought, oh, okay, no problem. Because I think they agreed to do whatever the person commissioning the art of the comic or whatever for. I think they said they would be willing to do it. They make exceptions, and I think it was around my birthday, so they made an exception for my birthday to actually do this. And I think they explored the idea somewhat in some of the original ideas, of their own. So what it was is it was a story that I typed up, of Sally and Mina becoming slime girls, temporary slime girls, where Sally was using the special Chaos Emerald that she had gotten that allowed them to become slime girls. They had slime girl abilities to like melt down the puddles, shapeshift into inanimate objects, clothing, whatever, almost merge, basically merge together. And well, I really didn't get to this part yet, but almost like fuse into a different individual, stuff like that. They did the webcomic, and the webcomic came out good. It looked really nice. I'm not denying that. But the point I'm getting at is while I was going through that phase, just like I mentioned previously, the person that did the commission for me made it a reality, made my story a reality. Didn't have to do it, but they made the exception. Hold on. Hold on for a second.
Guys, just put this in a safe place. I'm not ready to use this.
Okay.
Sleep.
Sorry about that, but like I said, they brought my story to life. Because, they did say they would make an exception once in a while, and that's what they did. Um, so, again, they did it, and I paid them a good price. I think it was like, because I had money at the time, believe it or not. I had some money at the time. I got a little ahead of myself, I believe. And it cost me like 200 or something like that. But still, they did it. And that's why what I mentioned earlier comes into to play. Yeah, sometimes it does cost a lot. It costs as much as a new game. It costs as much as maybe like let's say a 4K Blu-ray player or whatever. It does cost a lot because of the fact that the more you want added, the more they charge. And I know some people think, well, they shouldn't charge too much if it's just something that you want to see brought to life or something like that. They shouldn't be charging that much. And that's understandable. But that's how they operate. They figure, okay, if I'm typing up the story for this person, you know, I'm going to say to the people that are interested, this is how many words I can do at this price. They go by the words. Now, some go by pages, and that's fine, but others go by words over pages because words can add up a little bit more. Again, same with, artistic stuff. You want a little mini web comic that's like 4 panels for about 4 pages? They could say, okay, the initial page is with the 4 panels, it's $60, but every additional panel after that is 20, which includes the pages. So boom, 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 that adds up. But again, they do this because it's the other way of making a living. Now, again, should they be more reasonable? Absolutely. Absolutely. They should be more reasonable. They should be like, okay, if you're a first-time commissioner, let me know or let us know, and we'll work out a deal with, to where we can fully give you an idea of what we're capable of, with what we bring to the table. But it's not going to break your bank. Could they do something like that? Absolutely. And, I know deep down I would do the same thing. But then you add in other elements as well. Yeah, you add in other elements as well. Like you got Patreon now and Coffee and places like that, which is KO-FI. Places like that allow people to, not only do commissions there, but if you're on Patreon, you have to join a membership to get maybe an unlimited amount of commissions free, or you have to join Coffee for a certain, amount and get an unlimited emissions or commissions free or whatever the case may be. Or become a channel member and your instant reward is, hey, I'll draw or type up any or draw whatever picture, creative, weird, whatever picture you want, or type up whatever story you want, creative or weird. And again, that's how they make their money. That's how they make their money financially. So, so when it comes to commissions, yeah, could they be a little easier? Could they ease up a little bit on the prices? Yeah, they can. But if they want to have that steady income to where they can basically be like, you know what, sooner or later, I could just make this my permanent, living, easy for me to say. But they can, basically, can they, ease up, as I was trying to say earlier, could they ease up on the prices? Absolutely. But the reason, they decide to go the route they do and charge what they can is because sometimes, just like with YouTube, the people here on YouTube that monetize their channels, like I hope to do eventually again, they look at the fact that, hey, I can make a living out of this, if I save up enough. And there are times that people do make that decision to where they realize, hey, if I can keep pace with this, keep up the work and everything, I can make a living out of this, and I don't have to, basically get in my car or go on a bus and go to another destination to work for somebody else to make a living. I can do it myself, be their own boss. And that's basically why commissions get charged as much as they do, whether we like it or we don't. But, to me, if, the artist or the story writer, typer, is willing to do stories or pictures that might be a little out of the comfort zone, but maybe work out something to where they could do something identical or even make an exception, but for certain prices, maybe plus or whatever, then I'm cool with it. And if it helps them make a, living in the long run, have a little extra income, I'm cool with it. But I just wanted to come on here and talk about, why commission, why people that do commissions charge as much as they do, whether it's stories or pictures. But let me know what your thoughts are down below. Comment if you like. And until next time, guys, I will talk to you all later.